Finally. Sorry guys, the camera's glitching out. Full Gear has now come and gone. I had to think about this first while I was trying to get this camera to work properly and not botch my words. Guys, I want to make this very clear ahead of time. I liked the pay-per-view. It was good, really good. But they had a major weakness. 5 hours. 5 hours. 10 matches, counting the buy-in show. 10 matches, guys. 10. Over a 5-hour period, where nearly 45 minutes of that time was advertisement. Look, that is a major weakness that I don't know why people still do it. Not everybody wants to wait 45 minutes to wait for a show. I think it's dumb. That is one of the 2 glaring weaknesses of this pay-per-view. The other one I'll explain during the matches and what I saw there. Now, this was a very good show. Baron Van Roski showed up. I think I got a shot of it. If I don't have a shot, sorry. You had a lot that's going on. Jay Lethal appeared, and I will talk about him if I don't forget, because there is so much content here. I know I'm going to forget something. And remind me in the comments what I forget, and maybe I'll elaborate on it in another video. I might even do it in a Gump report. Already got one filmed, so just in case you don't know, already got a Gump report filmed. But there's so much here, it's easy to miss something. Easy. So let's go to the buy-in. 45 minutes of what the fuck? Advertisement. 15 or 20 minutes. That's what they really needed of advertisement before the buy-in match, and that's it. Maximum maybe 25 to 30 minutes, but nearly 45 minutes of advertisement is stupid. I know this is something we already know, but it's still got to be addressed. Now the match that, honestly, this could have been on a Dynamite or better yet a Rampage. And that is Thunder Rosa and Cheetah versus a Nia Rose and Jamie Hager. Now, we had Selena Deeps there. I believe I got a shot of her. She's in my face. I am angry about that. Because really they had a wasted opportunity where Selena Deeps could have been the one that goes to the very end of the TBS title. And you could have Cheetah still relevant, hunting for her, trying to get her 50th win. Because as it stands, Hideko Shida, and I believe I'm pronouncing her name correctly, I can't stand her. Not because I hate her as a person. No. I hate her because she has no character. None. She doesn't show herself as a gamer. She doesn't show herself as a judo expert. She doesn't show herself as a karate expert. She just is a plain, boring Japanese wrestler. And I blame creative for that. Instead of going down a good route of turning her into an obsessive woman, not being evil, just obsessive, wanting her 50th win, they blew it. So when you see this match, which it wasn't bad, it was a fine match, it was alright for what it was, you pretty much having the screaming Vicky Guerrero at ringside, which was fine, and the faces won, which I wasn't surprised. I mean, they're not going to let Hideko Shida fail, because if they were, they would have had that for Selena Deeps. This wasn't even about Thunder Rosa. Wait a minute, who was the one who got the pin? I can't remember who did the pin. I believe Shida got the pin. I believe she got the pin. And I believe it was on Hager, not Nia Rose. So, she's a waste of space. Not because she's a bad wrestler, and not because she can't speak English, and not because she couldn't have a character. The problem is she has no character because they won't show it on Dynamite. What a waste. First match of the night, which was a damn good match, and the Minneapolis crowd, and thank goodness I actually pronounced Minneapolis correctly. I've been botching lately. The Minneapolis crowd throughout the night was very good. If you want to hear a really interesting crowd, this was the crowd to hear. Now, they had some dips on and off throughout the matches, and I'll try to remember and talk about them. but here they were invested. MJF versus Darby Allin. And he could beat him with a hip toss and a headlock. And that is what MJF was trying to say. Now, right before the match started, we had a video pack. Well, not a video pack, but like a short film made probably by Darby Allin with a guy in a car that looks like MJF or somebody. It looked like MJF or somebody else. Might have been his uncle. This could have been his uncle or somebody. I don't know. I don't think he would put his uncle's image there. But he reenacted crashing his car. And they even clearly stated it by the commentary table. And JR was there, which is good. I haven't checked on his skin cancer. Hopefully he's all right. But they made it very clear that that crash scene was to reflect who he was. Having a car crash with his uncle and surviving and feeling like he's half dead. That goes along with the character of Darby Allin, and this match was a damn good match. It could have easily closed a show by itself, which I kind of wish it did. One of the major problems this show had was a lot of these matches could have easily closed a pay-per-view. And that's a major issue here because of the main glaring weakness that I saw next to the long advertisement. But this was a damn good match. It was. A lot of crash wrestling. Let's be honest, that was crash wrestling. For at least most of it. The person who mainly grounded that match was MJF. MJF mainly dealt with that match as a more of a traditional match of trying to get himself over, more than just doing a lot of stunts and a lot of spots. He left that up to Darby Allin, which was fine. Darby Allin is very good, and I still love Darby Allin. I think he's a great character. He is the second coming of Mick Foley. He's not Sting. He's not Sting, guys. If you think he's a Sting guy, no. He is a Mick Foley guy. That is who he is. And he fits the mold. 100%, I agree with it. But in the end, you got the Dynamite ring coming into play again for a second year in a row to the face of someone knocks him out and basically he wins. Everyone hates it. And he got tons of heat, which he needed. Perfect. I loved it. It's the way it's supposed to be. The heel is defined. The babyface is defined. And he cheats to win. And it goes with his character. But it does not mean he can't beat you clean. Now, let's move on to the next match. Which, it was a damn good match. FTR versus the Lucha Brothers. And this was for the AEW tag titles, not the AAA tag titles. I kind of wish they did that. Make it that the AAA titles mean something, because it would be nice to have them together. Let the Lucha Brothers and FTR put their titles up, and whoever wins gets both sets of titles, and they go to AAA to do their business. I think that would be really cool. Doesn't mean every single time you should do it, but I felt in this situation as a signature pay-per-view for AEW, this also could really help AAA and make it a spotlight. And hell, you could add Conan there, and he could have said something that means, here is my titles of AAA. Believe me that these titles mean something, and as you can see, it's being contested in AEW. That shows our promotion is great. I kind of wish they was doing that, but they don't really do that kind of cross-promotion, just like Impact Wrestling. But unlike Impact Wrestling, at least the AAA titles, well, actually it's the same, because they're going to go over to AAA and we won't see it. Was it a good match? Yes, it was. It was a very good match. A couple of spots that looked quite dangerous. But hopefully not too badly hurt. And in the end, the Lucha Brothers managed to retain their titles. But here's the thing. What about the AAA titles? Will they be defended on AEW television? Or are you just going to let FTR continue holding those titles and not try to defend them against other people? I'm hoping that will happen. Maybe against Santana Ortiz. That's what I would like. Let Santana Ortiz be next to try and go up against FTR. Because, in a sense, after what happened to Cash Wheeler and here, it kind of makes sense for them to have that opportunity. I'm just saying. Now, Miro versus Bryan Danielson. Here's where things get quite interesting. You would think that Miro would be booed a lot and Bryan Danielson would be cheered a lot. The video packages clearly define who is the heel, who is the face. Miro is supposed to be the heel. Bryan Danielson is supposed to be, supposed to be the face. Clearly defined. But the Minneapolis crowd didn't want to see it that way because they cheered both sides. And they did that on and off throughout the night. And in this situation, here's where it gets very interesting for me personally. I liked Miro when he was Rusev and Rusev Day. I loved it. Rusev Day with Aiden English, who is no longer around him. I did care about Daniel Bryan and the Yes movement. Not doing the Yes. But here, you would think, for me personally, who would I choose? You probably say, well, it's got to be Bryan Danielson. Why not? You love Bryan Danielson. It makes sense. Yes, I do. But guess what? If I was going to think about it, who I would rather have to actually win, it would be Miro. Miro should have won. Now, when he came out to a lot of fanfare. And no CJ. Where is Lana? Maybe she's not cleared yet. But that doesn't make any sense. I think she's already been cleared. It's been more than a few months. I'm sure she's cleared. And maybe there's a reason. Maybe she's not ready to be seen on AEW TV. Or, weirdly enough, she doesn't go to AEW. Which doesn't make any sense. Be with your man. Be in AEW. Be his manager. That would be great. Unless she's already been seen on Darker Elevation. I do believe that she's going to come in there and be his manager. If she doesn't, that's kind of dumb. But, comes out by himself. Bryan Danielson comes out himself. And the match goes on, which was quite good. It was very strong style with a lot of technical wrestling and a lot of methodical wrestling. Particularly for Miro, he was very methodical in how he worked the match. He did a lot of strategy. Not to be technical, but to show his power more than anything else. He did a good amount of moves that enhanced his capability as a monster. You got Bryan, you got Miro. That is how it went. And the crowd was cheering a lot for Miro. And I agree, the crowd should cheer for Miro because I truly believe Miro should have been one to go forward instead of Bryan Danielson. I'm sorry. I love Bryan. He's a great wrestler, and he has a really good character. But in this situation, it's too soon. Way too soon for him to have won that match. And mind you, the match was very dramatic. Very emotional. Because neither one of them wanted to back down. Not one damn bit. And this is something that's a very big problem throughout most of these matches. No one wanted to back down. Way too many moments where, not about false finishes, but the point was that there had to be someone to give in eventually. And the majority of these matches didn't do that. Now, mind you, this would be great as a closing for any pay-per-view. All 9 matches on this card easily could close them. And well, make that 8. Make it 8. I take that back. 8 matches easily could close a pay-per-view because of how they booked it. And that's a really glaring weakness because simply put, they had to make it less than the next match. And they didn't. Guys, if you tell me down below, what are you talking about? These matches were all awesome. They were great. Yes, they were if they were the last match of a pay-per-view. Hear my words. Each of these 8 out of the 9 matches could have closed a pay-per-view because they were that emotional. And they should had. But due to the fact there was no pause in between any of these matches, as well as no like cool down matches, like a regular match that wasn't having a really major story to cool the fans down. These were all here. All of them. And that takes away from the matches. Mind you, this could have closed the show easily. It was damn good. The work in the ring and how Rusev refused to stand down and pretty much acted like Ivan Drago of Rocky 4, going like, come on, hit me. Go ahead, go on, hit it. He's telling him to kick him under his armpit and he refused to quit. This, or no, Bloodsport. That's better, Bloodsport. But pretty much neither one wanted to back down. And one of them should have backed down much sooner than they needed to. I'm just saying. Now, the next match was the Falls Count Anywhere match. The Super Click versus Jurassic Express and Christian. Now, this was very good. At one point, Adam Cole started to bleed. I believe I have a shot. If I don't, I'm sorry. But this was a good Falls Count Anywhere match. I think it easily outshined the street fight, which I will talk about. But this one also could have closed a pay-per-view by itself. And I kind of wish it did. This was a damn good match. The person that was, well, take that back. There were two people who were easily spotlighted, but they really wanted to focus on only one, but two were spotlighted. The first one was Luchasaurus. That big-ass bastard of a dinosaur truly showed why I've always said he's money. Luchasaurus is money. He should be pushed eventually by himself to get a TNT title. He needs it. I don't know if they ever put him on the world title. He should go there, but either TNT or world, he needs to go there because it's obvious how good he is. He did at one point near the end of the match a freaking shooting star press off of the ramp onto everyone else. Now that's a very dangerous thing for a small man to be doing. The guy is over 6'7", 8", doing a freaking shooting star press off the damn ramp going near the back. It was that big. And even Jungle Boy was in shock. And I don't blame him. That is incredibly dangerous for a large man to be landing on smaller guys like that. Now, this was still about Jungle Boy. Trying to show how great and tough he was. And showing that he has to do whatever it takes to win. Now, Christian tried to get him to understand you cannot be gentle. You must do whatever it takes in a Falls Count Anywhere match. He tried to get him to do a concerto at first on Adam Cole, but he just couldn't bring himself to do it. But by the end of the match, and I can't remember what it was, I think it might have been Adam, or it could have been Nick, who was trapped within the chairs. I can't remember who, either Matt or Nick. I think Nick. And at one point, they got purple mustaches or beard. I think it was Matt who had purple mustache. Or it was Nick. I can't remember who. But pretty much one of them was wearing purple. They just nuts, trying to be different. But he concerto one of them to win the match. I'm not against Jungle Boy Jack Perry. I'm not. I like him. But at this point in time, you can't feel him as a true character because he doesn't have one. He's a great wrestler, a great high-flying wrestler that does have good mat technique, but he has no understanding of how to do a promo, how to give him charisma, and a persona. He doesn't have it. Now, many people would say, yes, he does. Show me where, when he ever did talk. The silent type doesn't always work. And not everyone is liking him. Yeah, there's a lot of people who do because of his ring work. But if you really want to win over more people other than hardcore, he's got to have a personality. And he needs to talk more. They need to do more segments with him in the back. They need to do some type of story where you can see an emotional type of Jungle Boy. where he's got to talk and show himself. That's what I'm saying. Now, one match that I felt could have been on Dynamite, that was Cody and Pac versus, when it came to Andrade Elidio's as well as Malachi Black. I believe, and I agree with, I believe Tony Schiavone said it, or was it Tony Schiavone, or was it Excalibur? No. Either Tony Schiavone or JR said it. It was like there were 4 guys in there that were not a tag team. There were just 4 guys in there having to be stuck together. Because that's how it felt. It felt like it wasn't a team, one or the other. It felt like there were just 4 individuals in a match. And I can't believe that Excalibur said, "Can Cody and Pac coexist?" I went, what the fuck did you just do as a parody of WWE? I'm going, what the fuck, man? No. But it's understandable. They don't do it often. And in this situation, I think they were kind of playing with WWE. Kind of jabbing at them like, can these two coexist? But one point, Cody was nailed. He was outside, and Pac is asking for him. I like to go Pac. I don't like Pac. I like Pac. But you get my point. I'm going to go between the two. He stayed outside, and Pac said, "Hey, where are you? I need you." And at the other time, later, Pac was nailed. But then Cody rallied in and got what he did. And Cody's still being booed. He is still being booed. Flat out. A little bit of Art Anderson action where he nails the manager of an Andrade. In the end, if I remember correctly, Pac wins over Andrade. But why do I have this strange feeling that you're going to have, and I have to close my eyes because I had to really think about this. Why do I have a feeling that something may happen between him and, come on, darken up. I don't know why he does that. Between him and Cody. Because those two have barely ever touched, if ever. I don't even think they have touched in AEW. And definitely in WWE, I don't think they ever even were near one another. But it's hard to say. It's just me. I think they will do something with Pac and Cody, I think, eventually. Afterwards, going to be dealing with Malachi Black and Andrade Elidio's. It could have been on a Dynamite. I'm sorry, it could have been. This match could have been on a Dynamite. But if it had to be here, it could have closed the show, maybe. But I think it should have stayed on the Dynamite. That's just me. I didn't hate the match, but I feel like it could have happened. Now, the AEW Women's title match of Taikanchi versus a Britt Baker, where there was a Hager and a Rebel by ringside. Tell me, is Rebel getting younger? She still looks good for age. I think she's in her mid-40s now. I can't remember how old she is. She's got to be in the mid-40s. And she still looks in her mid-40s. I think she's like 45, 46. I think she's a bit younger than me. Maybe about 3 or 4 years younger than me. Because I am 50. And I believe she's about 45 or 46. Still looks good for age. Damn sexy. Date me. Anyway, what did we get with Conchi and Baker? One of the good matches. I'm not saying any of these matches were really good. They were. But when it came to the women, this was a damn good match. The crowds were really behind it. Admittedly, it was a little slow at first. And I think Ty might have had a little bit of nerves in the beginning of it. Britt has been fine with this because she's been doing this enough that she's comfortable in a high-profile situation. But Ty felt a little bit off. And it kind of showed in certain moves that she was doing by the middle of the match and nearing the end. It was a bit sloppy. By the time it was all over, a lot of people were on their hand. They were no longer on their hands. They were clapping. They were cheering. They really believed Ty was going to win. But I knew she wasn't going to win. I knew it. She was not going to win. There was no way she was going to win. There was no way. In the end, Britt Baker won. And I was not surprised she won. Because I can't see Ty like that because of what's been going on for months upon months upon months. Ty Conchi, yes, going against Britt Baker. Ty Conchi going against Hager. Ty Conchi dealing with a rebel. I'm about to say Reba, a rebel. Where is Ty Conchi and another feud? Maybe Hiro Kushida having a feud with her. I know Hiro Kushida is a good guy, good girl, and she's a good girl, but we need more heels. There wasn't enough heels. It's not like she's gonna go up against Jade Cargill or Bunny because we've seen that already. She's already gone up against Bunny. She's already gone up against Penelope Forbes. We saw them so many times. So I've seen everything from these women, and it's been bad. I'm sorry. It's not about the match quality. I want to make this clear. It's not about any of the women's match work. Guys, this is not about match work. This is about how you present these women. And with Ty, I never believed that she was ever going to be Britt. Not because she didn't have the skill to do it. Who is Ty Conchi? When has she had a feud other than with Bunny and with Penelope Forbes? Who else has she gone up against on Dynamite? Tell me, who else? Has it been Abaddon? Did she go up against Jade Cargill? Yeah, maybe she might have had a match with him maybe once, maybe on Elevation or Dark, but what about Dynamite? That's where she's presented. And we've had the same thing for months. And we've seen nothing new. So that's just it. I'm sorry it took so long. Now, the match I was waiting for, that should have ended the show for me. Should have ended it. Was Punk versus Eddie. Now, one of my subscribers, he said, and he asked me, who do you believe was going to win that match? And I told him, no, not that match, but when it came to Kenny Omega and Adam Page. And I told him, wait until this review. So sorry, dude. I know you wanted to hear me say it. I wasn't going to let you get it easy. I was going to let you wait until now. Give you something to think about. So, this for me was the match I was waiting for. Because this was a match I felt could easily be a long feud and should have started more than a month or two ago. But the thing is, CM Punk had been going through other people. And now that they had this moment, the question for me was this built up enough to work? Guys, the crowd went ape shit for them starting out. Next to Eddie Kingston knocking out CM Punk at the very beginning before even the match got started, where the crowd was up on their feet, screaming. And Eddie is screaming at the top of his lungs. He's so happy he did it. When you see this match, the crowd was completely invested. And this is where things get really... It's not the fact that I'm angry that the match was bad, because it wasn't. I'm not angry that CM Punk won, because I knew he had to win. I'm not mad that CM Punk got bloody because of Eddie, because he did. But the problem was for me that this might now be over between the two. And that is what pissing me off. CM Punk was mostly booed throughout, no, not mostly, almost 80% of this match. The beginning he was cheered, and he was cheered with Eddie. Maybe at least 20% of it. But the rest, they were booing his ass. They were booing him, and they were cheering for Eddie. They loved Eddie. They were rooting for Eddie. It is clearly defined that Eddie was the heel, just like Bryan Danielson and Miro, and Punk was the face. But basically, they flipped positions because everyone realized what was going to happen ahead of time. They knew Punk was going to win, but they also knew this was still a great match. So they cheered for them both at first, then they realized where it was going, and they knew they were going to cheer the right person. Punk as the heel, Eddie as the face. And the kicker, I knew the kicker for me was going to be that they weren't going to continue this. They need to continue it. That's the problem here. Yes, CM Punk tried to shake his hand, and Eddie walked away because Eddie realized he lost, and CM Punk tried to shake his hand and he walked away. Now, I would be happy if they continue this feud. I would be happy that they go on with this feud and continue having it because Punk needs a real feud. Eddie needs a real feud to get himself over as a face. Because really, Eddie is a damn good face when he wants to be. He's a great heel when he wants to be. But in this situation, I truly believe he could be a TNT champion as a face. I truly believe it. And working with Punk would really help him. But I have a feeling that this is over now. And it's a waste. I'm just saying. Now, what do we got here? The match that pissed me off at the beginning, which was good and could easily end the show. I gotta be calm about this because I did get pissed at the Minneapolis street fight. Because at first, it was a standard ass 10-man match. And I'm going, what the fuck am I looking at? What the hell am I looking at? Why are you doing it? Why? Why? Why am I seeing a standard match? It is beginning to piss me off. I actually went to the bathroom to take a piss because I was getting pissed off that it was a damn 10-man tag. At least within the first 10 minutes, it was a regular 10-man tag, easily. Then it finally started working as a street fight where everyone started fighting one another. And then it felt a little bit choppy. Now, mind you, you're dealing with three guys that are not true professional wrestlers in years of business. Santos, Lambert, and I forgot the other guy's name, Van something, I forgot his name. That are all from MMA. They want to show they can do this. They want to be a part of it, but you could tell they're not pro wrestlers. And how they take bumps, and how they take falls, and how they do their hits. At one point when Jake Hager was fighting with he's making my scalp itch. When he was trying to throw punches at Hager, he looked terrible. This is what happened when you don't have MMA fighters who spend several months practicing beforehand and just being brought in. When it came to Bad Bunny and WrestleMania, I know you don't want to hear this, but I got to say it like that. At least he made sure when he was doing his work, he knew what he was doing. These guys didn't. They tried. They did. But it felt messy. Even though it was a good street fight with a bad beginning, because it felt like a damn 10-man tag. They should have just made a 10-man tag and just ended it that way because it would have been better that way. This was okay. In the end, what do we get? We get Lambert getting a couple of staples to the nuts, and he gets taken out by Chris Jericho. And that was after he tried to nail Jericho with help and tried to do the walls of Jericho on him. Chris Jericho. I'm just saying. Now, Jay Lethal. I want to talk about this right now. Jay Lethal. There in my face. I believe I got the shot. My eyes are closed. I don't know if I'm bringing the camera angle in now on myself. I don't know. I just no Impact Wrestling. I was hoping, but I knew there was a good chance he would go to AEW, and now he's signed to AEW. One of the most beloved members of ROH is now on AEW, and he's going after Sammy Guevara to see if he can get the TNT title. He made a request. Sammy agreed, so this Wednesday, they're going to have a match. Now, here's an interesting thing. I got to say this. Even though I don't know who's going to win it, who do I believe should win? Jay. Weirdly enough, I think Jay Lethal should win the TNT title. I know he probably won't, but I think he should. It would give a good message to people that members of ROH will be appreciated and will be considered important. Now, I know a lot of people are not going to like it, but if so many people say, "Oh, here comes more of these guys here. We're not gonna care about our people." Well, ROH guys, a lot of people who have been working in AEW started in ROH and were working in it, and now a established wrestler who is so beloved came in and may win the damn title and should win it, will show that they care about real pro wrestling. I'm just saying. Finally, if I'm forgetting anything, I'm sorry. The match, well, Hangman's journey finally ends. I think that might be the best title for this. Kenny Omega versus Hangman Page, with a little bit of Don Callis interference and a little visit of the Bucks. We've been waiting for this. This match, had a lot of emotion in it. A lot of high spots, a lot of high punching spots, a lot of false starts, a lot of false finishes, a lot of emotion. Even at one point, Hangman's cut was opened up by Kenny himself, biting at it. It had a lot of stuff in it that many people are going to go crazy over, and others are just going to hate it. Like most of these matches, like I said, could close the show, and this easily close the show was important, and it needed to. It had to close the show, and it did close the show, which it needed to. You got Don Callis trying to help Kenny to keep his title. He got nailed eventually. The ref that was there eventually got nailed because Kenny grabbed him because Deadeye was used. Almost lost. Then you got to look at when the buckshot Larry was going to be used. You knew that Kenny was going to try and do something, and he used the ref to protect himself and knocked out the ref. And then you see Alicia Edwards running down that ramp. Whew, the woman can run. He was out of breath by the time she got there. But she was the one who looked over it, and she was the one who raised Hangman Page's hand. But here's where it gets interesting. The Bucks come out. They were both at ringside on either side. Hangman was waiting to see if they're going to try anything because he did warn them on Dynamite. Look, was it Dynamite or Rampage? I think it was Rampage. He said to both, no, Dynamite. He said to both of them, "We screwed each other. I'm sorry. I messed you up. But you also messed me up. We're even. Do not come down to the ring. If you try anything, I will destroy you. I will make your lives a living hell. I won't care." But guess what? When they were at ringside, and I believe it was Matt, who was the one who looked at Hangman and nodded right when he was about to do a buckshot lariat. The second time to finally pin Kenny. Why did I say buckshot lariat? The buckshot lariat. I guess I'm tired because it's already past 12 already. It's almost 1 now. But he wins. Now, what does this mean for AEW? This is one of the longest storylines I gotta say it in this respect. AEW, still a new company, has tried to set up several people going forward. One of the people was Hangman Page. From the very first final match of the AEW title, the title picture they first set up when it came to Chris Jericho and Hangman Page. Remember, the very first match to get the title was between those two. Chris became the first inaugural champion, and Hangman Page was one of those people who tried to get it. Since then, they have been building the story with Hangman Page. They had a lot of faith in him. They let him set up a story where he starts losing and reaches the point where he has to leave the elite because he feels no confidence in himself. Works with the Dark Order. Eventually, he has to rise up on his own, and then finally, after reuniting with the Dark Order, he finally finds himself, finds cowboy shit, and finally becomes champion. A very great rise for one of the most established people in the company. They may have the four pillars of Sammy Guevara, MJF. Oh, I just, when it comes to Darby Allin and when it comes to, you know, I don't hate any of them. I think every last person I just mentioned, and I'm forgetting one for some reason, maybe because I'm tired. One of the pillars, along with them, an unsung pillar, is Hangman Page. Yes, he's already been established, but he was truly made in AEW more than he ever was as an independent working ROH in any independent company. This truly made Hangman Page in a way that not many people are going to see it. But this is just me. And I hope you enjoyed this full gear review. Please give me a comment below. I don't know why I'm forgetting the fourth pillar of AEW. Sammy Guevara, the MJF, the Darby Allin, and I am forgetting someone. I guess I'm really, really tired. And Orange Cassidy. There you go. Have a good day. Have a good night.